Now, those of you who've been following my motoring career over the years will know that I was never a massive fan of Aston Martin. To be honest, I don't think they really cared. But this car, the DB11, marked a massive change for the company and also my opinion of the brand. Coincidence? I think not. The DB11 was a very important car for Aston Martin when it debuted at Geneva back in 2016. Not only did it obviously replace the DB9, but it was the first car as part of the company's new second century plan and also the first one since the Daimler tie-in. Now you're probably wondering, DB9, DB11, what happened to the DB10? Well, there was one, but you needed a license to kill to drive it. There was a time when you couldn't tell one Aston Martin from the next, but that all changed in 2016 when the DB11 was brought to market. The brand has been on an aggressive product onslaught, but what I like is there seems to be a clearly defined design language, a unique personality within each of the models that they offer. What a great opportunity then to chat to the man driving the change, the Chief Creative Officer, Marek Reichman.
When I started 15 years ago, that was very much about establishing the brand again. So it was creating our own platform, building a new factory from 2003, having our bonded aluminium structures. That was the rebirth, if you like, of Aston Martin, the brand. And what we're now doing with the second century plan, which is 7 cars over 7 years under Andy Palmer's leadership, that we're all bought into that plan, and that's the diversity of product that we now have. So if you like, the genesis of creating Aston Martin has now become the genesis of creating individual products within Aston Martin. And they all have their own character, therefore they all have to have their own visual language. It has to have beauty and proportion at its core, which is why we remember DB5, and it's why we remember a DBR1, because they are fundamentally beautiful cars.
Well, if beauty was the goal, then Marek and his team have scored with the DB11. It's instantly recognizable, which is important, but all those familiar elements have just been reimagined. The iconic grille is more prominent, and it forms the starting point for the creases on the clamshell bonnet, which is pressed from a single piece of aluminium. And then you have those standout aero blades, so simple yet so striking. The roof detailing with new strakes separating it from the body can also be specified in black or body color. But it's the rear that really excites me. It's a massive improvement over the DB9, the sleek swish of the taillights emphasizing the width of the flanks. Now all that they've done with the AMR version is taken all the bright bits and darkened them, leaving you with a far moodier DB11. The interior has received the same treatment. The sumptuous natural materials remain, they've just been darkened and carbon fiber has been added. It is a supremely comfortable space you're going to find yourself in, and I really do like the driving position. As I mentioned with the Vantage, I love the squared off leather steering wheel. But most important, it's all been sculptured around an all new riveted and adhesive bonded aluminium platform.
If I have to pick one of the cars which was the start, if you like, of the second century plan, and it's fundamental to our core, it would have to be DB11. And everything else, of course, is wonderful. Doing Valkyrie, that's such an incredible product. And this car, when it comes out, because it's our first mid-engine car, will also be spectacular for us as well. But DB11 is the car that started all of that. It's the car that makes that change into the second century plan. It's our new platform, our new architecture, if you like. And DB sits at the core of who we are and what we do. DB is, it's the car that James Bond's going to be driving. And DB, if you like, it's synonymous with us. So to replace a DB in that bloodline, yeah, that's for me, it has to be DB11.
It received rave reviews from the motoring media, winning the Golden Steering Wheel Award in 2017 for the most beautiful car. But for me, the star of the show is the chassis. The real magic here is the suspension. It's got double wishbones up front, multi-link at the rear, and adaptive dampers, and that's what gives this car this amazing GT personality. You can cruise by, and basically any road condition it's only too happy to absorb. But it's when you put it into sport mode, Sport Plus, that other personality comes out, and that's what they've really done with AMR. They've used their racing experience and they've gone and fiddled around a little bit, and they fiddled in a good way, because the car is just, it feels a little bit sharper, it feels a little bit more precise, and that is what you're looking for when you've got an AMR, Aston Martin racing badge. I can't believe the level of grip. I know they've got some active aero at work here as well, but the mechanical grip is just absolutely immense. A lot of people with that amount of power would have slapped in an all-wheel drive system. I love the fact that I'm driving it off the rear, because like that, little adjustments on the steering, so easy to modulate and point this big GT exactly where you want it. So the AMR version has essentially replaced the standard V12, a move the DB purists may not all agree with, but it was necessary given the incredible performance delivered by the 115 kilogram lighter V8 version with its 4-litre twin-turbo engine. The AMR version sees a 22 kilowatt bump up in power to 470 kilowatts, with the torque remaining unchanged at 700 newton meters. So it is quicker to the 100, and it has a higher top speed of 335 kilometers an hour. I really want to try and capture the essence of how this Super GT goes about delivering its sporty drive, because I've said that the performance figures are comparable to a supercar, but when you drive a supercar, it kind of feels like a teenager on a first date. It is so on edge, it's so nervous, it's bouncing around, it's all over the place, youthful exuberance. Whereas in this DB11 AMR, it's experienced, it's mature, it knows what's coming, it knows that it's going to get there, but it's how it gets there that really provides you with such a compelling drive, such a cool experience, so different, so refined. And it makes you wonder why people go for supercars, because I think you've got a lot more versatility here. And I know at the flick of a button I can dial this down completely and get straight back into GT mode. So cool. Which brings us to pricing. Entry into James Bond's world starts at 3.7 million rand. Another 300,000 rand will lose the top, while the range-topping AMR will set you back a cool 4.5 million rand. Driving the British mark in the English countryside, it does not get better than that. And with the Skyhook technology and the 3 driver modes, the GT characteristic remains firmly in place, just with a darker side.